Hi, hello. We are reading more Boku no Hero Academia. We see the devastated, in shambles team that was trying to take down Gigantomachia. They had a plan. They had this whole system of getting him pinned down by Mountain Lady and a combination attack, running in with the tranquilizer, which Momo had whipped up. It ended on like a high note. Kirishima running up his arm, attack on Colossus. Wait, what? Shadow of the Colossus style? I got Attack on Titan and Shadow of the Colossus like confused in my brain. Shadow of the Colossus style, throwing the thing in his mouth. It looked like it went in. We had every reason to think that that would work because they had built up this whole like plan around it, right? That's usually how things in shonen series work. But then, devastatingly, overwhelmingly, indefeatably, just as annoyingly as that car alarm, Gigantomachia pushes onwards. So I don't know, are we going to get a little flashback? See how exactly it failed? Is our lovable class 1 and A and B going to rise again? Let's find out. This chapter is called 75. I have no idea what that means. Oh, by the way, I saw people talking in my Discord about the idea that Deku's mom might be in Gigantomachia's path. I feel very validated in that I wasn't the only one that thought that. Something about the scenery, I guess, just somehow suggested it to multiple people, but there's no basis of this in reality based on the projected path that they showed Gigantomachia taking and where Deku's mom is already established to be living. So we're all good there, at least. Anyways, they see this wake of devastation. Oh, 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 oh. There's thundering footsteps in the far distance. Shoji trying to see, is there anyone there to intercept? Any heroes remaining? Absurd. Tokoyami in the dark shadow, nursing people back to health. We only survived because they didn't consider us worthy enemies. They only survived because it would have been a waste of time to slow down and finish them off. They were just brushed aside like fleas. That's why we're alive. Well, for someone like Momo, who, has a very dignified presence, who has worked to excel within a student society, within a society and a student body that, of course, is made up of all extraordinary people, for her to rise above that fierce tide and then not to be defeated, but to be dismissed. Not to lose outright in combat, but to not even be judged worthy of that focus. That's pretty heavy. That's a lot for her to deal with. We see here Majestic. I'm not quite sure who this is. Decisions and actions were correct. You kids played this right. Whatever happens now, don't doubt that. This is one of the pro heroes, one of their teachers, I think. Looks like his quirk is making these little floating rings to hover people around. Maybe some other magic-y stuff on top of that. Oh, the sedative not kicking in. Decisions are moves. All those plans, multiple chapters spent with this as the main focus. All just to emphasize Gigantomachia's strength. Or I guess I shouldn't say that. It's not all just to emphasize Gigantomachia's strength. As Majestic says, they did it right. They coordinated, they cooperated, they improvised, they did all sorts of really amazing things in the heat of the moment against this overwhelming adversary. The fact that it didn't work out is independent of that. It again just emphasizes Gigantomachia's transcendent power, that we can't find any flaw in how they operated, and yet it didn't suffice. Did we do the right thing? Really? The heroes too, did they make the right choices? Wow, even Minita, usually just comic relief pervert character, is shook to the core. Seriously, this whole nightmare, didn't we just make it all worse? I don't know about that. How could they have made it worse? What is the logic here? That by agitating Gigantomachia, now he's more destructive? He's in even more incoherent state of rampage. I don't know about that. I don't think they really made it worse. You could argue that they didn't really do much to help, but they tried their friggin' best. How could they have made it worse? I don't get it. Anyways, we see the League of Villains chilling out on his back. Dabi seems like he's having the time of his life. Everybody else more in a state of kind of concern. Ooh. It's really coming. He only had his beat, enough for that one slip up. This friggin' doctor. Even hauled off getting arrested. He heard the news of Gigantomachia, I guess, maybe over the police scanner. And now he knows the villains are at a major, major advantage. He's a calamity who lives and dies for his master's sake. But soldiers we call Nomu were modeled after the big fella. Ah. He means the soldiers, good strong ones. And here we can see they're still fighting the Nomu, these advanced Nomu, taking multiple pro heroes to even fight to a standstill. All over the hospital, these skirmishes are happening, likely. And now, with Machia on the move, total destruction is inevitable. Hero will bring your Shigaraki will bring your hero-saturated society crumbling down. That was a very weird moment of isolated word-based dyslexia. Whatever. Another very haunting shot of Tomura-chan. He's really buff now. Before he was so gaunt, like half rotted away himself. But now he's just this avatar of destruction. So someone in the comments said that Eraserhead did blink. I thought it was ambiguous. Maybe there was something I overlooked. I blinked when I saw it. Maybe. But yeah, that means that Shigaraki is like fully online now. Okay. I need to help Ryuko and them first. Cool off with that ice. Oh, look at this father-son team. Ooh, Todoroki, the super assist. His generational quirk project working out even just for him. Oh. See, this is kind of interesting because the more they emphasize things like this, the more they sort of like validate Endeavor's inhumane, like totally like this abusive project of trying to breed out the perfect quirk. It really worked though. Like it's difficult, and I don't think it's like a flaw in the writing. I don't think it's them, you know, kind of writing themselves into a corner. I think it's just sort of a challenge that they've accepted. How are we going to depict the brutality of Endeavor choosing to do this and the full like emotional ramifications it had on Todoroki and the other children, without also denying the fact that, you know, he did a good job. Like this fire and ice combo is super strong for a reason. Now we see Bakugao. We haven't seen him lately. He was right there with Midoriya when he ran off to help. Oh, you know, the old man. Gran Torino. Jeez, I've forgotten him like the world has. Gran Torino. He ran off the rush to save Gran Torino, but Bakugao kind of like stuck. Oh man. What's with this claw? Oh no. That's his primary source of attack. So they know his powers must be online. He tells him just to run, but Deku says no. He just wants to fight Shigaraki right here and now. Yeah, more and more I'm thinking this is going to be a pretty total loss for the heroes. It's hard to know exactly what will happen. Like, is Shigaraki going to become like Emperor of the Earth or something? Is he literally just going to destroy all of society? Rip down every building in Japan? I don't know. But I can't really picture the heroes winning from this position. Especially seeing Deku say no, that he's demanding to fight him, despite all of the massive risks and problems that entails. I think it's going to be like a very, very minor success insofar as they keep One for All out of Shigaraki's hands. They manage to restrain Deku and get him out of there after he fights to a loss. Things like this will happen. devastating losses and just kind of clinging on to shreds of hope. Oh! Oh shit. Okay, never mind. Shigaraki kind of just exploded a little bit. Oh man. Deku did get that one super strong hit in, a full 100% smash. That's up there in the canon of strong attacks in this entire series. My hyper regeneration quirk is back. My body shouldn't have limits at all. What's the date today? What's the date today? Oh, shit! He doesn't realize yet that he's been taken out early. Oh, so he was being a little cocky. He thought he was the fully perfect cell version of himself that had been incubating for however many months. But no, they smashed that shit open. She bunny kicked it. Now he's only half man. Oh, I didn't get that he didn't realize until now. Oh. And power is too much for his body to keep up with. And Deku thinks back to some really iconic moments in the series where he completely mutilated his own hands just trying to do simple punches. Oh. Deku almost has maybe a moment of empathy here for him, but understands at the very least, if not, fully sympathizing. He empathizes with this idea of not understanding that, not knowing your limits, pushing yourself way too hard. So yeah, he came out before he could handle All for One. Completion status 75%. Here we see what happened to Mirko. She's being rushed out of the hospital. You win this by staying alive, and you will win. Okay, the hyper regen is still working. One touch should end this, that is true. Okay. Deku jumps up, pulling everyone with the black ropes, because you can tell that Shigaraki is about to dust the earth. Meaning if they were touching it too, they would also start getting dusted. Oh! Oh! It's not that he jumped up. In an instant, he unlocked yet another one-for-all power. Oh, and Gran Torino manages to remain conscious. Whoa, he can float now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh! I think I talked about this a bit before. Back when they were first hyping up these powers that Deku might get in the future, I said, there's a rule of thumb when it comes to shonen battle series, that once the characters can start flying at will, that's when it goes downhill. It's true for Bleach, it's true for Dragon Ball, probably many other examples that I can't think of off the top of my head, but that once you kind of remove that limiter, it's true for World of Warcraft? Thoughts? Once you remove that sort of limiter, it just sort of makes the story writing a little too easy, a little too convenient. It makes the action choreography, it maybe increases the ceiling of how dynamic and exciting it could be, but it also raises up the floor a lot, and that you can kind of write them very lazily, and because the characters are flying around, you can just kind of show arbitrary fight scenes, And something I've thought about a lot, like, why does this seem to be the case? I remember reading a more complete list of examples of flying equals bad. So, how will they dodge it here? I think because Deku, of course, always kind of jumps ahead of himself. It'll take quite a while for him to master this outside of these very dire circumstances, where, of course, in true shonen tradition, abilities supersede themselves and rush out ahead of someone's kind of controlled potential. Also, it's only Deku that can float, so far, at least, so that's good. That's good. Only one flying character. We're not going to start getting into these type of fights. So that's exciting. I don't know. You're just flying into each other. Yeah, this is a pretty hype scene, though. I gotta admit. And I love this little shot of Shimura and Gran Torino flying around together. He's using his boots. He's using his burst quirk. He's like, what? You can just float? It's cheating. All right. Let's look forward to next week's chapter. I'll see you then.